Man, the moment I tapped into this energy, it hit like a truth that just won't stay buried, like a lightning bolt straight to the chest. One of those revelations that shakes everything you thought you knew. And let me tell you, Spirit doesn't whisper here. It straight up shouts in a way that grabs your attention. You gotta ask yourself, do they even get what they lost? Because the vibe around you right now, not disposable, not replaceable, not forgettable. Nope, you're the kind of soul who's walked through hell alone, rebuilt yourself brick by brick, and came out glowing in ways they couldn't even imagine. Spirit's showing me this scene. The person who doubted you is now staring at the wreckage of their choices, jaw dropped, heart heavy, asking themselves, how the hell did I let someone like that slip away? And this realization ain't gentle. It hits when their world starts crumbling. The people they leaned on vanish. Illusions of control collapse. And suddenly, truth is all that's left. You weren't just someone they had. You were the blessing they couldn't hold, the connection they didn't know how to honor. And now, the spotlight's fully on you. Spirit keeps nudging me to notice the contrast. The old you versus the new you. Back then, you were gentle, hopeful, trusting. You believed in people showing up with sincerity because that's how your heart rolls. You poured love, patience, and understanding into them without keeping score. And that's what they never got. They didn't see that every ounce of kindness you gave wasn't just shaping them. It was forging your own strength. You were learning detachment, resilience, and self-reliance while they clung to illusions, comfort zones, and people who couldn't even promise loyalty if their lives depended on it. Now here's the kicker. The biggest shock for them isn't losing you. It's seeing what you became after they dropped the ball. Your glow didn't fade. Nah, it blew up. Your silence wasn't defeat. It was rebirth. Your absence wasn't disappearing. It was outgrowing a space they assumed you'd always occupy. And as they watched from afar, social media, mutual friends, random encounters, they can't wrap their heads around the version of you standing tall now. Depth without needing validation, confidence without cockiness, softness without fragility, boundaries without apology. Spirit is showing me someone staring in their own reflection, frustrated at how much they let fear, insecurity, and people-pleasing run their life. Those voices that guided them wrong? Gone now. And suddenly, every crumbling relationship, every failed reliance, every crack in their foundation screams a brutal truth. They lost the realest love they'd ever known, the kind that didn't demand perfection, didn't manipulate, didn't make them question their worth. That realization is hitting them like a tidal wave. And trust me, it's loud. And here's where it gets even juicier. Because Spirit isn't done yet. And what happens next? Let's just say the clarity coming their way is about to blow their mind. Yo, now Spirit's pulling me deeper. And it's like watching someone slowly wake up from a nightmare they caused themselves. This person? They're sitting alone somewhere. Maybe late at night. Maybe in their car, replaying moments with you in their head, and it's hitting them harder than any slap could. They traded something real for stuff that never even had a heartbeat. They didn't just lose a partner. They lost their emotional anchor, their spiritual mirror, the one person who truly understood them without needing a million explanations. They thought you'd stay fragile. They thought you'd stay dependent. They never imagined you'd walk away with clarity, self-worth, and peace. And now, seeing your glow from a distance, it's like a punch in the gut. You leveled up while they're stuck hitting replay on the mistakes that cost them you. They misread your love as neediness, your patience as weakness, your loyalty as naivety. But the truth, your heart always operated from strength, never desperation. You love fully, but when you bounce with certainty. And that certainty, man, it haunts them. Spirit shows me their inner world right now, like a house with all the lights off. They're holding a door that doesn't open because the key to your heart, yeah, it's long gone. They feel your energy rising, evolving, expanding, and every time you level up, they feel the weight of their own stagnation. You brought clarity when chaos reigned. You offered emotional grounding when life around them felt like quicksand. You were hope in human form while their fears screamed louder than anything else. And now, that void? That's louder than anything they've ever faced. Here's the thing. They never realized your love wasn't conditional. They didn't know it didn't come with strings or fine print. They never experienced someone who saw their flaws and fears and just got it. You loved the parts of them they couldn't even show to themselves. You held the child inside, the wounded parts, the shadows they tried to hide, and that scared them back then. But now, with you gone, that's exactly what they crave, the kind of love they'll probably never feel again. Spirit keeps showing me flashbacks, moments where you encouraged them when fear had them frozen, moments where you softened their edges instead of criticizing them, moments where you quietly believed in their potential. And now, all those memories, they're like a mirror, reflecting a version of themselves they never knew existed, the better version. And it hurts, because they know deep down they could have had that life with you, but they blew it. They let fear and emotional immaturity dictate their moves. And this is where it gets real. They're angry, but not at you. Nah, they're mad at themselves. Mad for letting family pressure, insecurities, fear, and bad advice control their decisions. Mad for not fighting for the one connection that actually mattered. Mad for squandering someone whose presence wasn't just love. It was emotional protection, stability, spiritual alignment. Your absence isn't a punishment. It's a lesson. And now, that lesson is crystal clear. They can't fake it anymore. Spirit is showing me them realizing that every distraction, every substitute, every temporary fix they chased, none of it filled the void you left. None of it replicated the stability, the nurturing, the unconditional care you offered. They're learning the hard way that genuine connection can't be duplicated. Your evolution became their wake-up call. Your growth exposed their stagnation. Your healing spotlighted their unhealed shadows. And every time they see it, every time they feel it, the regret just digs deeper. And here's the kicker. What they're about to feel next. It's the kind of raw, soul deep realization that makes you question everything you thought you knew about love, loyalty, and loss. Buckle up, because next part is where the ultimate truth drops. All right, so now Spirit is showing me the final scene, the part where everything clicks for them. And honestly, it's brutal but necessary. This person, they're realizing the full weight of what they lost. And I mean really feeling it. Not just a passing twinge, but a gut punch kind of awareness that hits every fiber of their being. They thought they could replace you, distract themselves, move on. But none of that sticks because nothing, I repeat, nothing replicates the depth, the warmth, the emotional gravity that you brought into their life. They're staring at their reflection, replaying all the times they messed up, all the signs they ignored, all the chances they took for granted. Spirit's showing me the scene like it's in slow motion. They feel the regret, the sorrow, the yearning for the emotional safety they had with you. And here's the kicker. They're not just sad because they lost you. They're shaken because they see what you became without them. You didn't crumble. You didn't fall apart. You didn't cling or beg. Nah, you evolved. You leveled up. You flourished. And that's the ultimate slap in the face for anyone who thought they could hold you down. Spirit is highlighting a major contrast here. Back then, they influenced you with their chaos. But now, the tables flipped. Your energy, your light, your strength, it's undeniable. They're watching from the sidelines, stunned, and maybe even a little scared because they can't control or manipulate the force you've become. And let me tell you, that's exactly how it should be. You were never theirs to hold. You were a gift, a lesson, a spark of divine light they weren't ready to handle. And now, this person is forced to confront a truth they ran from for far too long. They're realizing that their anger, their fear, their indecision, all of it wasn't about you. It was about them. They were never equipped to love the way you needed. They depended on others, let insecurity guide their choices, and surrounded themselves with people who reinforced their weaknesses. But you saw right through all of that, and instead of enabling them, you quietly became the standard they could never reach. Spirit keeps showing me the moment of reckoning. They're sitting with all the memories, all the what ifs, all the I should haves, and each memory is a hammer, reminding them that the one they lost wasn't just a partner. It was a stabilizing force, a soul-level connection, someone who loved without conditions, someone who brought emotional clarity and spiritual grounding. And now, that clarity is loud, unavoidable, and it's teaching them a lesson they can't escape. Here's the truth. This isn't just about regret. It's awakening. It's the universe forcing them to see what real love looks like, what true partnership feels like, and the kind of energy that lifts, nurtures, and transforms. And while they wrestle with their own failures, you're out here living proof that love and strength can coexist. You didn't just survive, you thrived. You didn't just heal, you flourished. And every step you take now radiates that truth. Spirit wants you to know this. Their loss isn't your story. Your story is your glow, your peace, your evolution, your freedom. And while they may never fully understand the gift they had, your growth is the message, the statement, and the ultimate wake-up call. You didn't need them to validate you. You validated yourself. And that's the kind of energy that changes everything. So if this message resonates in your spirit, write "I claim my power" in the comments. Because what's happening here isn't about their regret. It's about your rise, your clarity, your unconditional strength, and the undeniable truth that you were never meant to stay small for anyone who couldn't appreciate your light. Remember, your absence isn't a void. It's a statement. Your transformation isn't revenge. It's proof. And your energy? Unstoppable. Yo, check this out. Spirit's showing me moments where you showed up emotionally even when it wasn't convenient. Times you noticed their tiniest insecurities without them even saying a word. Times your vibe alone made them feel calmer, safer, like the chaos of their world just quieted down for a sec. And here's the kicker. Those memories, they're not fading. Nah, they're intensifying every time disappointment, betrayal, or chaos hits them. Because each crappy moment now reminds them just how different the love you gave them really was. Your love made them feel seen, but they weren't ready to be truly seen. Your love made them feel safe, but safety felt like a threat. Your love made them feel accountable, but accountability scared the crap out of their unhealed ego. So instead of stepping up to meet you, they backed off, convinced they couldn't handle something so pure. Spirit shows me they've tried to distract themselves, work, travel, meaningless hookups, routines that demand nothing, but it never sticks. Every distraction collapses because their heart keeps whispering, "You lost the real deal." They try to convince themselves they made the right choice, but every sleepless night, every quiet moment, every gut feeling says the same thing. You were the love their soul needed, and they blew it. They're watching you now, not physically, but energetically. They see your confidence, your boundaries, your independence. They expected you to crumble, to beg, to cling. But you leveled up, you healed, you evolved. And now they're left staring at someone they underestimated, realizing you're everything they didn't deserve to lose. Spirit keeps highlighting a word: regret. Not some surface level, oops moment, but deep, soul-shaking regret. They're being forced to confront their emotional patterns, dependencies, and avoidance habits. Losing you is triggering a spiritual awakening they weren't ready for. They're realizing the people and habits they leaned on didn't support growth. They just filled gaps. And you were the one who offered authentic, growth-oriented love, and they weren't ready for it. Your energy exposed them. Your love awakened them. And now they can't unsee it. They're seeing the imbalance in their lives, the hollow relationships, the distractions that don't work, the shallow connections that can't replace you. Spirit shows me them sitting in quiet, late at night, chest tight, breath uneven, thinking about what they lost. The truth hits hard. You didn't just love them, you revitalized them. And that fear of emotional depth, that's why they pulled away. And trust me, the story's only heating up. Wait until you see how their realization turns into a full-blown spiritual awakening that changes everything. All right, now it gets real. Spirit's showing me them reflecting on all the moments you held space for them, even when they couldn't handle it. You weren't controlling. You were guiding. You weren't demanding. You were inspiring. Every ounce of your patience, every soft word, every stable presence, they're seeing it now, and it terrifies them because they misread your depth as danger. They mistook your strength as a threat. Your loyalty, they thought it was too much. Instead of rising to meet your love, they fell back into familiar dysfunction. They surrounded themselves with people who demanded nothing, praised minimal effort, and made them feel safe without real growth. But here's the thing, those connections, they're empty now. Spirit shows me them walking through emotional collapse, realizing the ease they chased was actually a trap. They're facing the consequences of ignoring the love that demanded their growth. Spirit keeps showing me the pivotal moment, maybe a betrayal, maybe a quiet night of reflection. Whatever it was, it forced them to look inward. And the absence of you, it hit like a cold wave. You weren't just someone they loved. They were someone who encouraged them to stand independently, to heal, to evolve. And they weren't ready for it. Now they're starting to see it all clearly. Your love wasn't meant to bind. They misread it. It was meant to awaken, to break old patterns, to raise their emotional bar. Spirit's showing me them replaying memories with new awareness, realizing your patience, understanding, and stability weren't weaknesses. They were gifts they mishandled. Your departure created a vacuum, and into that vacuum, every suppressed feeling, every unhealed wound, Every suppressed emotion rushed back. Spirit shows them battling the part that wants to grow with the part that fears they've already lost their chance. They're grieving not just your loss, but the version of themselves they could have become if they'd chosen healing sooner. And hold up, it doesn't stop here. The next layer hits even deeper, where regret transforms into accountability, and the soul starts reshaping itself entirely. Here's the final layer. Spirit showing me them now on the brink of a breakthrough. They're starting to internalize the lessons your presence taught. They're learning to communicate without fear, to love without conditions, to trust without illusions. Every word you ever said, every encouragement, every gentle warning, they're seeing it for what it really was. Guidance, not criticism. They're building themselves into the person they should have been with you, not to win you back, but to align with the love and life your energy showed them was possible. Spirit shows them reflecting, imagining how much deeper they could have connected if they'd been ready. But here's the power move. These visions aren't meant to bring sadness. They're meant to bring clarity. Your connection wasn't about a perfect ending. It was about a perfect awakening. Spirit shows me your growth, your healing, your evolution. This is what shifted their world. Your strength became a mirror of their weaknesses. Your detachment forced introspection. Your love became the blueprint for emotional maturity. And now they're realizing they lost not because they weren't enough, but because they weren't ready. You weren't just a chapter in their life. You were the catalyst. Spirit's guiding me to say this loud. Everything you went through was preparation for what's coming next. Your heartbreak became your awakening. Your silence became clarity. Your healing became rebirth. And now, the universe is aligning people, opportunities, and experiences that honor your growth and depth. If this resonates, drop "I honor this journey" in the comments. Share this so the right soul finds it. Remember, your story isn't ending. It's just stepping into a level of love, clarity, and purpose you've never seen before.